our sponsors at Plymouth Rock, the New Jersey Teachers Insurance Plan, and without them, we wouldn't be able to make this show happen. And I want to ask you a question in your life, Bryan. Who was an educator or a teacher that really stuck out to you, whether if that was an acting coach, someone in school, whoever it was, that really had an impact on your life that you think that would help you going forward? Is there someone special that you remember in that time?
I would have to. I had several good teachers. Mrs. Waldo was one in the fifth grade. In the sixth grade, I met. My teacher was Mrs. Crawford, and it was along that time that I think, and I now know is true in retrospect. I had ADHD, um, and I was having difficulty doing book reports and things like that, and writing and staying focused on being able to complete a task. And Mrs. Crawford said to me, "Do you think that you could perform the book report and still tell the story?" And I went, as opposed to writing it out and do, and she said, "Yes, I will give you the credit if you perform the book report instead of writing." And I thought, there it is. I would rather do that. So I knew the book, I read the book, and it took me a while to read the book because of ADHD. And so then instead of having to write out and keep focus on that, I was able to act out the course of the book as in report form. And that opened up everything for me. The idea that performance is a communication, and it's a valid communication. And people learn differently. Some learn audibly. Some have to have a visual. I needed to sit up close in class, or else I would get distracted by things. So you start to learn how you learn, and but it takes a teacher like Mrs. Crawford to say, "I understand. Hey, here's an idea. Why don't you try this?" And an encouragement. And so I was very happy to hear that the teachers are sponsoring the podcast. The most underrated, most important elements of influence in any person's life, to be dropped off and put in charge of students. It's like it's amazing what responsibility they have. And personally, I think they should be paid a hell of a lot more than they are.
I totally agree with because without you, we would not be the people that we are in the education that they teach us on a daily basis. And I want to
Yeah.
obviously thank you, obviously, for your time and coming on the show today. And I want to make sure to tell you, keep on riding through those towns in that Dos Hombres truck, van, whatever you call it, getting all the people pumped up and meeting them at bars and showing your bartending skills back there. I love this scene. And everything you do is truly an honor to be having this conversation with you. And I want to thank you again for joining us on a Couple Believe podcast, Bryan. You are the man.
Thank you, Eric. It's good to see you again, and I'll hit you up when I'm back east, and I'll meet you over at the coffee shop.
Come on by for your Couple Believe, my man. It's going to be an awesome time. Thank you for listening to a Couple Believe podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and all audio platforms.